Well, lockdown has frustrated many plans, and there are concerns it could scupper the upcoming SailGP Championship on the Great Sound. Competition co-founder Sir Russell Coutts is confident the race will go ahead. Everyone at SailGP has followed strict coronavirus protocols, and Sir Russell hopes government will permit them to continue preparations for the race, which will be televised around the world. Gary Foster-Skelton tells us more.
The opening of the 2021 SailGP Championship is another chance to highlight Bermuda as an ideal location for international sailing competition.
The images that would go out across the world to our 175 broadcast territories would still be amazing.
But the island is in a very different position today than it was when the staff and teams started arriving. A third wave of COVID-19 infections has led to a 7-day lockdown. SailGP co-founder Sir Russell Coutts hopes they can continue preparations for the competition, which starts in 11 days' time.
Obviously, right now we've been locked down, and I'm talking to the government about allowing our people dispensation, because a lot of people don't really realise the complexity of these F50 boats this year. They've got new systems on them, new electronics, new hydraulic systems. The analogy would be like asking a Formula One driver to jump in a car that's totally untested and race it against all the other cars on a Formula One track, you know.
All visitors involved in SailGP have been subject to strict coronavirus safety protocols. After completing the required negative pre-tests, arrival tests and initial quarantine, additional restrictions come into play.
Each team remains in their own bubbles, in their own camp, whatever those functions are. So it could be broadcast operations, it could be boat builders, it could be hydraulics engineers, sailing teams. So even the sailors don't interact with each other from other teams. When those technical people come in to work on their boats, they've got to wear strict PPE, and then whatever they touch on board the boats is then sanitised and so forth. For the event staff, it's actually a different category. They still are in their own bubbles, but they, after 14 days of being clear, then interact with Bermudians, but they still don't interact with for example, the sailing teams.
Are there any concerns that Bermuda's current situation with the pandemic could lead to a delay or cancellation of this race?
As I said, if we can't get the sailing teams on the water, it is time critical. In theory, we would soon reach a point where if we can't operate, we'd have to cancel the event. But I don't think that's going to be the situation. I think we'll find a solution with the Bermudian government. Even if we're compromised and still remain in lockdown, if we are able to put on that event, I'm hoping that Bermudians will be watching that event on television. It's going to be a fabulous event.
Returning to COVID and recent trends in COVID-19 infections, the number of reported active infections fell on Monday for the first time since mid-March. That is, more people recovered than contracted the infection during the same 24-hour period. It's possible this could be a first sign of the expected recovery, and the results over the next few days will begin to answer this question. Today, active infections rose slightly to 868. More news after the break. Stay tuned.